there are a lot of people that are listening to LifeWave for the first time tonight. So they want to know, what is this patch made of? What do you recommend that someone wear? How do you recommend they wear it? How long do they wear it for? So whoever wants to jump in, like I said, round robin, you guys do a great job at that. So kind of let's get the basics of what the patch is. What's it made of, and how does it work, and how do you wear it?
Well, I'll go ahead and take it. So the when people say crystals, these are not like amethyst crystals or crystals you get in a shop. These are nanocrystals. They're very tiny. They're made from carbohydrates, amino acids, and this is what. Yeah, there you go. And what that does is you've all seen a fun house mirror, right? Where sometimes you stand in front of one and you're tall and skinny like this, and then you move over and the next one you're like this. Well, that's because it's bending light in a different manner. David Schmidt has figured out through his research how he can bend light with these. Basically, I call them reflectors. The patches are reflecting back a specific wavelength of infrared energy that's coming from your body into the patch as heat. And that's why they only last 12 to 24 hours, because if energy is being reflected back, the rest of it is being absorbed and it's causing the breakdown in those amino acids in those patches. So most of the studies for all the medications that people will take blindly, just I write you a prescription and you take it, not too worried about it, are mostly funded by the manufacturers. So that's just kind of a standard thing. The bottom line is most people are not sophisticated enough to read these studies. The fact is they have the studies, and that's good enough for the FDA. Now, this is not an FDA approved product, but for the Food and Drug Administration to approve those medicines, they have to have studies for devices. Everybody's got studies. It's just kind of like you're getting your ticket punched. The bottom line is, if you don't feel, if you're not going to know if these work for you unless you put them on. So, yes, the science is important, but, people are looking for studies. Number one, they can't really read. They're not sophisticated enough to understand the statistics on it. And they're there for validation, but you can read all that and you're not going to believe it until you feel it yourself. And some people feel it, we call them like a one-hit wonder. Within, minutes or 24 hours, they feel it, but most people are going to take longer. And that's just, depends on your, the state, whether you're really, you've got a lot of things that are not working well in your body, or you've got everything that's working well. So most people are in between, and you just got to give it time. And if you're not, because even if we show everybody that, the science and they read everything, if they don't try it and give it some time, they're still not going to believe it. So that's how I answer the studies. Everybody wants to look at the studies.
The premise on which these patches are made is that your bodies are miracles and are self-healing. Our bodies are meant to heal themselves. And if we get out of the way, sometimes they will. In other words, when Dr. Dennis does some surgery on a foot, he puts stitches or staples in there and he puts the edges together. He doesn't make it heal. It heals on its own, right?
Yep.
It can approximate the two edges, but that doesn't make it heal. And that's the basis on which we're doing this. These patches help our bodies and support our bodies to do exactly what they're already doing. When you are born, you're born with trillions of stem cells. These stem cells can make more stem cells, or they can make any other cell in your body. Any cell, any organ, any tissue, any system comes from stem cells. And there is a peptide, it's a 3 amino acid, like the little elements that make up proteins, called GHK, and it is attached to a copper molecule. And when it attaches to the copper molecule, it helps to create stemness or make stem cells activate. This GHK copper peptide is what our patches upregulate or cause to be produced. And the thing about it is, that same crystal lattice that is inside the patch is like a reflective mirror. When you get out of bed in the morning, the bed is warm. Why is that? Because your body is exuding heat, and that heat is a frequency of light. And that light is infrared light. You can't see it unless you have the night vision goggles or something. And this infrared light hits the patch and goes back into the skin. The skin absorbs it and sends a signal to your brain, and it sends out the GHKCUs. It's kind of like the first responders, you know, in an accident, you want those paramedics to be on the scene. You want them to get there. But sometimes you have a lot of inflammation and the stem cells can't make it to the scene, and it takes a long time. So you might want to have your bent finger heal, but it's working on your heart or your lungs or trying to get past some other inflammation that's there. And I'll just leave it at that for now in the interest of time.
That's perfect. I love that. Thank you. Dr. Kathy, do you have anything to add on time?
Yeah, when we talk about the patches and when people wear the patches, a lot of people ask, where do we put them? Well, clinical studies were done behind the neck and below the belly button, but you can really place X39 anywhere. So if you have a little area that maybe it hurts more, you can put the patch right in that area. You know, we talk about a 12-hour wear. So we wear the patch for 12 hours and then we take it off and give the body a rest. Now, why do we do that? We do that because if we keep the patch on for a longer period of time, the body will react in such a way that's called attenuation. And what it means is that the body starts to ignore the signal that the patch is delivering, and then you're not really going to get the results that you're looking for. It's kind of like something, if someone were to go ahead and tap on your hand like this 24/7, after a while, your brain will start to ignore that. So it's the same thing with the patch technology. If you wear it too long, you're going to start to ignore that signal and you won't get the benefit from it.